Hi, and welcome back. I'm Sofia. Today's topic sits quietly at the center of so many relationships. Not loud enough to cause a daily fight, but heavy enough to keep you up at night, wondering where you are headed. Today, we are talking about what happens when you want marriage and the person you love doesn't. Or not yet. Or maybe not ever. This is one of the most painful places to be in a relationship because everything else can be perfect. The love can be real, the connection deep, the daily life genuinely good, and yet this one fundamental difference can slowly turn something beautiful into something you are not sure you can keep holding on to. It sits there, quietly, in the background of every happy moment. The question underneath all of today's messages is not really about marriage. It is about something deeper. Am I a priority? Does he truly see a future with me? And how long is it reasonable to wait for someone to be sure about you? Let's get into it. Now, let's read Jessica's message. Jessica is 32 years old, writing to us from New York. Sophia, my boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years. Every time I bring up marriage, he changes the subject or says he's not ready. I'm 32 and I feel like my clock is ticking. How long is too long to wait? Jessica, 5 years is not a short time. And consistently changing the subject rather than engaging honestly, that is not about timing. That is a pattern. And patterns tell us far more than words ever do. They tell us what someone is willing to face and what they are quietly hoping will simply go away on its own. There is a difference between a man who says, "I want to marry you, I just need more time," and a man who simply redirects every time the topic comes up. One is a timeline. The other is avoidance. How long is too long? Only you can answer that. But ask yourself this: if nothing changes in the next year, will you be okay with that? If the answer is no, then you already know what needs to happen. Not as punishment, not out of anger, but because your needs are valid and your time is precious. You are 32, Jessica. You are not running out of time. But you are allowed to stop waiting for someone who cannot tell you when or if that time will ever come. Now let's read Laura's message. Laura is 29, writing to us from Amsterdam. My partner says he loves me deeply and sees his future with me. But when I ask about marriage, he says it's just a piece of paper. Sophia, if he truly loves me, why does that piece of paper scare him so much? Laura. It's just a piece of paper is one of the most common things said by people who don't want to get married. And while it sounds logical, I want you to think about what it actually means. If it is truly just a piece of paper, then why does it terrify him so much? Because that piece of paper is not just administrative. It is a public declaration of permanence. Standing in front of everyone you love and saying, "I choose you." Not just today, not just when it is easy, but for the long run. Some people are deeply afraid of that level of commitment. Fear of failure, fear of losing freedom, fear of repeating patterns from the past. That fear deserves compassion. But your desire for marriage deserves equal respect. And here is what I want you to sit with. You have been patient, you have been loving, and you have been present. You have given him every reason to feel safe enough to take that step. If he still cannot, the question is no longer about patience. It is about acceptance. The question is whether his fear is something he is actively working through or something he expects you to quietly accept forever. Now let's read Claire's message. Claire is 41, writing to us from Paris, France. My partner was married before, and it ended badly. He says he loves me, but never wants to get married again. I have never been married, and I want that experience. How do we solve this? Claire. Both of you are completely reasonable. His wounds are real, your desires are real. And yet, they point in completely opposite directions. His past experience does not obligate you to give up a fundamental desire for your future. Compassion for his pain is beautiful, but it should never come at the cost of your own dreams. The key question is whether his resistance is a wound that could heal with time and the right support, or a firm and permanent boundary. Because those are two completely different conversations. If it is a wound, therapy and genuine dialogue might create a path forward. If it is a fixed boundary, then you face one of the hardest decisions a person can make. Whether the love you have is enough without the shape you always imagined your life would take. You deserve to answer that honestly, Claire. From him and from yourself. Now let's read Priya's message. Priya is 28, writing to us from London. My partner and I are perfectly happy together, but my family puts enormous pressure on me to get married. He's not against it, but says he's not in a rush. Sofia, how do I handle family pressure without pushing him away? Priya, what you are describing is actually much healthier than most messages I receive on this topic. Your partner is not against marriage, he is simply not in a rush. That is a very different thing. So first, what do you actually want, separate from your family? If they stopped asking tomorrow, would marriage feel urgent to you right now? Because if you are genuinely happy and the pressure is purely external, the work is learning to set boundaries with your family without bringing their anxiety into your relationship. You can love them deeply and still say, "This is my life and my timeline." But if their questions are making you realize you actually want marriage sooner, then have that conversation with him, honestly and privately. Not because your family is pushing, but because it matters to you. He deserves to know the real reason, and you deserve to have the real conversation, the one that is entirely yours, with no outside noise in the room. And now, let's read our final message. This one is from Hannah. Hannah is 34, from Sydney, Australia. Sofia, I finally told my boyfriend that marriage is a deal breaker for me. He said he needs time to think. It has been 3 weeks and he still hasn't given me an answer. What does his silence tell me? Hannah, you already know what it tells you. That is why you wrote to me. 3 weeks is not someone carefully considering a beautiful future with you. It is someone weighing whether the relationship is worth the commitment you are asking for. And that, after everything you have built together, is information. Not a final verdict, perhaps, but information that you deserve to take seriously rather than explain away. Give him a clear and loving deadline, not as a threat, but as an act of self-respect. Tell him, I understand you need time, but I need to know where we stand by a specific date, because my life is not on pause while I wait for your answer. You were brave enough to tell him your truth. Now give him the space to tell you his, but do not give him that space indefinitely. If he cannot be equally clear, then his silence has already told you everything. 5 women today, 5 cities, the same fundamental question. Does the person I love see the same future I do? Wanting marriage is not needy. It is not old-fashioned. It is not too much to ask. It is a completely valid vision for your life. And you do not need to shrink that vision to fit someone else's comfort. You cannot love someone into being ready. You cannot weight someone into wanting what you want. What you can do is be honest, be clear, and then be brave enough to honor your own answer, whatever it turns out to be. Send me your questions. I read every single one. I'm Sofia. Take care of your heart.